Don't blink, it's your blink. Welcome to our show. Doing well because I'm having a wonderful day. Super excited to be there with you today. Today we're doing season 1 of Kenny vs. Penny. Once again, I'm gonna be not doing a long intro because we did it yesterday. This is gonna be season 1. This is the longest season. This is 26th episode out of the 86 of the series. I'm gonna be doing a rapid quick fire. The pilot is gonna be here. So very simple. I'm gonna go bullet points, a couple minutes per episode. Some of them are really good, some of them are kind of shitty. If I like an episode, I talk more about it. It's gonna be super simple. Plot points, how I feel about it, great moments of the episode. Sorry about yesterday. Yesterday I was supposed to do it. I ended up reading the Wikipedia. This is classic English. I'm gonna be using my tool, which is the list of episode. The list of episodes should be enough. I notice by heart, so it's not that big of a deal. And that's pretty much it. I'm excited because I have been wanting to do it for a couple of days. But I never get around to do it. So by the way, people were telling me, hey, you didn't mention Testes. I haven't watched Testes and I don't know what Testes is. Testes felt like a comedy, and to me, Kenny was more, because again, I told you guys how much I love Kenny. Kenny was more of a brilliant mind than a comedian. So we got season 1. I had to change websites. Kenny was playing Wiki, which is good. Do we have this? There you go. No. Okay, so this is odd. This is really odd. This is really odd. Why? Because the phone's gonna be too hot and I'm not gonna be able to film nature corn, which sucks, but it's okay. It's really odd because I saw the list of episodes, right? In their book, so this was aired in 2003, which I didn't know. In their book, season 1, episode 1 is who is the best fashion designer, which is not true. The first episode is who can lose the most weight. But I just think that they switched the 2 and the 12, because if you look at number 2, who can stay awake the longest is good. Who can be a better chef is good. Who can sit up the longest is good. Who can sit on the cow and who is the sanest, they're all good. So it doesn't really matter. So we'll go here. There's no pilot episode. So I'm going to go with the pilot episode first. Pilot episode is what? The competition is called who can gain the most weight and treat in a week. Later on, they decided to do 3 days. So Kenny and Spenny would have an episode per week. So they would do 3 days of shooting, so that way they have 4 days of editing. Now I don't know what this changed. It's very it's not that important. It's important if you're a nerd about the show, which I am, but I'm not that much of a nerd. So the pilot is actually one of my favorite episodes ever. It is a very basic episode of Kenny Spenny. Is shot in Los Angeles, which is the only episode that's not shot in Canada. If you don't take in consideration who can stand on night and the longest. So these are the only two episodes that's done in Canada. We're watching here because I'm filming Nature Corn, but since the sun is hitting the cell phone, the cell phone will get hot, and because the cell phone will get hot, I won't be able to film, which is not a big deal. If I can film a little bit, I can film a little bit. I'm not a asshole. I'm not a footer when it comes to this. Funny thing is, I was talking about how Kenny was Spenny. Kenny was doing a lot of Nazi joke. Right now we're watching Full Metal Alchemist, and they're also talking about Nazis. So kind of like a weird thing. It's still a pilot episode. Why I like it so much? It's super simple. It is very different. So the intro is different. The feeling of the show is different. To me, the pilot episode is both weak, both the perfect representation of Kenny vs. Penny. Sorry about the noise. We're playing a video game. So we're playing The Tower. If you were wondering what it is, one of my favorite games, if not my favorite game. So why do I like it so much? Because the intro is different, but it's the same thing. It's like, oh, two best friends compete against each other, with glory for the winner and loser, humiliation for the loser. The same thing. It is still Kenny fucking with Spenny, and it's still Spenny being kind of like a douchebag. Not necessarily a douchebag. I feel bad about Spenny, I'm an asshole to him, but it kind of deserves it, right? And I wanted to mention something before, and it's gonna be the weirdest thing I'm gonna say all day. And trust me, I say weird shit. Miriam was the one that got it. Kenny way of seeing life was because he had siblings. He was much more social, so he was much more aware and adept at social interaction versus Penny. And Miriam said, so Kenny said, why do you think it's so easy to mess with Penny? And Miriam's like, he never had bigger brother to pick on him. He doesn't know how to react, which she does, right? The pilot, what I love about it is it feels like, long story short, it really feels like an episode of a show that you love, that you know. It really feels like it has this Kenny versus Penny DNA, but it's completely different. So, for example, we have Penny finding some dates, which it's not that bad, but it's more so a personal aspect of life. So instead of focusing on the competition, it's more so like how. So it's more so. I would call it. I would have called it to be honest, I would call it revolutionary. I would absolutely call it revolutionary because it is half vlog on Spenny's side, not on Kenny, on Spenny's side. It would be half. I don't have the weight, so don't ask me about the number at the end. It would be half a competition, half a daily vlog. Now, YouTube came out in 2005, 2006, which possibly was the first vlog. This was historical. It feels amazing. Kenny is just about lazying around and eat. Kenny in this one isn't as crazy as we know him. However, the pilot, they were trying to sell the pilots, and if you see season 1, there's not that much like craziness. When they start producing the show and directing the show, then this came. This like, fuck you, we can do whatever we want. There's an episode called "Who Can Get Further with the Other Guy's Mom," which is fucking funny. But yeah, so this is a very odd episode. Kenny is lazing around. Penny wants to work out. So Kenny, it's super cool. It is super cool because there's a moment where he gives food to the homeless, which is, again, I think it's to look good, right? To make him seem like a good guy, right? There is some again DNA of Kenny with Spenny. So Spenny buy a fridge, right? See, phone is too hot, which I don't mind. It's okay, as long as we get a little bit of nature corn every single time. I don't mind. It's a warm day today. It's 27. So Spenny has a fridge and Kenny gets into it, but at the same time, it kind of, which is kind of good because this is the DNA of the show. Kenny was fucking with Spenny. It kind of sucks because Spenny is already aware of it. My problem with the pilot is they don't talk about Kenny, they don't talk about Spenny. It feels like an episode of an already started series. It doesn't feel like an introduction. It doesn't feel like, hey, I'm Kenny. I would have loved a little, I'm Kenny Hotz and I'm Spenny Nolan Rice. I would love that. In this one, Spenny is an asshole. And it's funny because the first episode that I watched wasn't that. So he has his personal trainer and he brings him in. And then, it's so fucking funny. It's so fucking funny. This is, to me, this is great television. This is, the path is so fucking special. I love it. So you got Rod, which is the trainer of Spenny, coming and choking out Kenny. And now after that, you don't know what happened. You don't know that Kenny was really putting him to sleep. And then, yeah, Kenny that's woken up, that's okay. It's like, yeah, all the worst that she did was put me to sleep. Ooh. So it's like, this is what happened. So this is like it's a confessional. This is how I feel about the situation, which I love. But more than that, it's there's this very cinematic moment, and I mean very cinematic. So while Rod is choking Kenny, you got Spenny looking at the scene and being shocked. And in that case, you feel like he did bring Rod to bully Kenny into winning because Kenny was cheating. The problem with Spenny is he's reactionary. So, for example, Kenny fucks with his fridge. Spenny fuck with his clothes. So Kenny cheat. He brings Rod to say, "Hey, this guy's cheating. Help me out." Rod goes too far, and then Spenny's like, "Holy shit, what have I done?" Well, he didn't do shit, right? Kenny is okay. It's shitty that he got choked out, but he's okay. He's the man about it. At the end, Kenny win, because he cheated. He gave It's not laxative. So there's two things. There's whey protein, which is all. It's like powdered milk, if you will. There's grease and everything, and there's whey protein. And the whey protein is all of the good protein of the milk without the calories of the milk. So yeah, so he gave him the whey, which makes you lose weight. So great episode. The humiliation is this is the problem with some of the humiliation. So they gave out the plot to a movie. The movie is Unbreakable, which is an old movie, but again, the show is old, so it's okay. They have flip phone. Season 1, episode 1. Who can lose the most weight? Now in this one, this is more so. And it's Spenny. They have the house, which is crazy. I don't remember if it's the house that they end up having. I don't remember. No, it's not. It's not. It's not because it isn't at all. By the way, Kenny owns that house. They have the Kenny versus Penny house. Kenny owns it, and he does visits for paid money. The very first episode. Now this is really my cup of tea. We get them sitting on the couch talking about their strategy, talking about the rules. I don't think there's rules yet. It's been a while since I watched the show. This is still my memories. So again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be recapping the show today, and I'm going to be reviewing the show tomorrow. So today is cold-blooded, no preparation. Tomorrow's preparation, which should be super cool. So yeah, so you got what I really like is Kenny is talking about how he's gonna do it. Spenny's gonna think about how he's gonna do it. There's a great moment in there, like for example, Kenny putting a metal rod over his head to look heavier. And so the problem is we don't weight that crown. So it does say the crown weights. So Kenny ends up winning by 0.5 pounds. And you could say the metal rod was 5.5, but we don't really have a number for that. So did he really win because of that? No. Would he have won without cheating? Possibly. So they both have their weight. They're both trying to lose weight. It's like who loses the most weight. Kenny works out. He goes to fucking hot yoga with a crop top, by the way. With a crop top. And Kenny is just lazing around. But Kenny does a lot. So Kenny goes to get his colon empty. He takes laxative. He spits, which is really good. Spenny goes the hard route. However, in Spenny weighs. He does the worst thing that you can do is he gets really sore the first day. So on the first day he's like, holy shit, what am I supposed to do? And he gets really injured. Well, not injured, but really sore. So he takes bath. He goes for yoga. He cannot do the yoga. So Spenny is a perfect example of I plan it, but I cannot do it. Versus Kenny is I didn't really plan it, but what can I do? You know. There's some good moments where doesn't really fuck around with each other. It's just a classic competition. It's just compared to Pilot, it's a lot more vanilla. There's not really a moment like holy shit, this show is crazy. But at the same time, it's good TV, and this is what season 1 is. It's good TV. It's just not Kenny versus Penny crazy. Kenny vs. Penny works really well because from season 1 to season 6, it's a graduation. It's more and more and more crazy. Versus, they would have been crazy in season 1, and season 1 they're very tame. And this is upping the ante and upping the ante and upping the ante. So kind of a cool episode. And I gotta say, I don't remember the humiliation for this one. I'm sorry. Again, I haven't watched the show in like a year. However, I'm gonna say that I remember Spenny losing and being really cool about it and be like, you know what, you won, good for you, congratulations, you know. And I like that. It's not about, well, at the same time he doesn't know that Kenny cheated, so maybe that's why. You see how nice this is? This is crazy nice. I'm filming, cool. The pilot also, the reason why I like the pilot a lot is it felt like no budget. This one feels a bit more budgety. Season 1 episode 2, who can say I waited longest. So this is fucking phenomenal. So they go in this competition. And this one is, to be honest, this is the really first quality episode. So the palette, in my opinion, is artistically good. Who Can Stay Awake the Longest is television good. So, for example, so they go in and they said Who Can Stay Awake the Longest, super, super, super simple competition. At first, Kenny talks about his way of doing it. Kenny loves coffee. He love coffee. Spenny doesn't have coffee, so Kenny uses paraphernalia, not paraphernalia into drugs, but he uses coffee pills. He uses coffee a lot. He doesn't want to sleep, and this competition is really nice. I gotta say, Who Can Stay Awake the Longest. When I first watched it, I didn't like it. When I watched it for the second time, I didn't like it. I grew to like this episode a lot for multiple reasons I'm going to end to. So they both get in. I didn't like, holy shit, I want to sleep, I want to sleep, I want to sleep. However, and it's really a cool experience because Kenny tells us it's more so about, hey, this is the second day, this is the third day. There's this really funny scene, and it's Spenny classic. Possibly one of the funniest thing that Spenny has ever said. It said, the first one to sleep loses, and they're filming him, and they're like, dude, and Spenny's like, to the camera, it's like, dude, there's only 6 hours in. How can we fall asleep? I'm not even tired yet. So they use his tactic once again. Spenny has no tactic. He has his nephew come in, and his nephew makes a lot of noise, is to keep him awake, which is funny because he does spend a lot of energy, but at the same time, it's like, okay, well, this is crazy. And this is good old Kenny vs. Spenny because they go on the roof and they throw eggs at people, which is funny. But it's more than that. It's more than just that. Is two completely different person and a completely different reaction to same trial. Kenny feels good. It's sort of a high. Kenny also uses a lot of, like I said, coffee pills, so he has an advantage. Spenny does drink decaf. It doesn't work. So that's actually pretty funny. What ended up happening is they go to a science fair. Kenny's in a wheelchair because, like, yo, I don't want to spend energy. So it's funny. There's what is kind of cool is they actually did really freaking good. This episode is momentous, is amazing, because so for example, they go in the morning and they say the morning really helps. Spenny does find a way, which is cold shower, which does help. They waking up, they have the sunrise, and like, oh, even though I'm tired, sunrise helping me, which I confirmed. I had some complete nights of working, of making content, so I can confirm that sunrise does help. What else? There's sleep. Yes, there's a couple of more things we can talk about. There's the fact that they went to a doctor to see their sleep because they don't fall asleep. So they're saying, okay, well, we're gonna see who's more tired. They're both similar. Kenny's a bit more awake. Now, this is the craziest thing with Spenny and Kenny. Kenny, yes, is more awake, but Kenny uses coffee. He uses that natural stimulant. He uses coffee pill. He uses coffee. Spenny is going in blood cold. He's going in with no help, and Spenny is more tired than Kenny, but not by much. So if Spenny would have taken coffee, just the normal amount, it would have been good. It would have been really good. And even the coffee pill, you could have taken the coffee pill. It would have been good enough. There's that. There's this. There's the famous clicker moment where Kenny buys a machine. When you tilt your head, it's making a noise to keep you awake. And the cool thing is, this is a cool gimmicks. It's funny. It's like, oh, gimmicks. It's a cool gimmicks, but it's also a really good show and tell. So when it does this, and this is what I really enjoy. This is a moment that I find the most entertaining about Kenny versus Spenny. So you hear the sound, and Spenny's like, what is that sound? And then Kenny smiles, and he explains to him calmly. It's like, yo, this is my tactic. This is what I'm using. And then when he's explaining, Kenny fucks up. He didn't explain it properly. He said, oh, this here, he makes mistake on which ears. It's like, this is for that, this is for this, and he makes mistakes. But it's cool because it does showcase Kenny. And this is the only way that it shows Kenny. That he's tired. This is the only moment of weakness of Kenny. Which is still human, it's still very human. So, great episode. Kenny wins. And the way Kenny wins is, I fucking love this moment. So, they're on a couch, and Kenny has the camera, and he shows Spenny. It's like, oh, Spenny's sleeping. but it's really cool. Again, I'm sorry, I don't remember the humiliation. I'm sorry. Season 2, episode number 3. One of my favorite episodes. See, this is possibly the best episode in the season 1. Season 1 is so complex. It's such a mysterious thing. Um, Season 1 is boring. It's a lot more TV. So what happened exactly is CBC got the first season. CBC is governmental. CBC is more family friendly than Showcase. Showcase are like, fuck, do whatever the fuck you want, right? CBC like, okay, well, you gotta take care of the kids and watches your show. So it's a bit more tame. Really good. So and Who's a Better Chef? This season, the episode is Who's a Better Chef. Now, this is kind of dumb because Spenny cannot cook. But this is really, for fuck's sakes, again, too warm. Fuck. And this is where Spenny kind of shines and Kenny kind of shine also. So this to me, Who's a Better Chef? In case it's complex. Who's a Better Chef is an episode that I watched earlier on my first watch through, and Who's a Better Chef is a good episode because no matter what, I would like it. I loved it. Now, ultimately speaking, when I start watching the show more, started to watch Kenny, started to really like Kenny, and I was like, okay, well, I want to watch the show for that. But Better Chef is a good episode. So, the funniest thing is, in this pilot, Spenny is like, oh, I cannot cook. So, right away, if you watch the pilot, you're like, you know that Spenny cannot cook. So, Better Chef is the two people cooking. We meet Miriam. Miriam is there, which I love. I love Miriam. I think she's cute. I think she's hot. But it's more so the fact that she's a good sister. She's like, oh, my brother has this fun thing to do. I want to be part of it. Right? I want to be part of it. And this is where this is both a really good plot but also a really bad plot. So in Miriam case is the perfect case of we know each other. So for example, with Kenny versus Penny, Penny knows Miriam because he knows Kenny for a long time. He knows her younger sister. So there's this human aspect to it. But because there's this human aspect to it, it's like, okay, well, it's nepotism, to be honest. Versus, this person we don't know and we're both biased. However, Kenny didn't need bias because he's very good. Kenny is a really good cook. It's really hard to know Kenny background because it doesn't talk about a lot, but he's a really, really, really good cook. So they go in. This is, in my opinion, this is Kenny and Spenny at his best. So the first thing we do is we have the two of them making their plan. Kenny is like, I don't give a fuck, I'm a good cook. He makes some pussy joke. He said, I eat out a lot. Right? Spenny calls his mom. And to be honest, am I a fan of Spenny? No. This is a very human moment. And he's like, Mom. And I'm going to paraphrase it, but that's basically what he says. Mom, I had this competition and I'm thinking about cheating. What do you think? And this is what I love. Before she even talk about it, Spenny tells her, it's okay if you're not okay with it. Like, you can say no. And it's a really good son moment versus there's a really good son moment versus, oh, we're equal. It's a really like, Mom, what should I do? Right? Which is normal. Doesn't matter what age you are, a mom will be a mom. So I go in. So he goes in and he's like, she said, I don't mind if he cheated because he cheated every single episode so far. Now this comes in a bit weird. Because if you watch the pilot, you have 4 episodes. If you didn't, this is, if you watch the pilot, this is episode number 4. If you didn't watch the pilot, this is episode number 3. If you watch the pilot, there's 3 episodes where, there's 3 shows where he cheated. If you didn't watch the pilot, there's 2 episodes that he cheated. So it's not really, oh my god, he's a cheater. He cheated twice, right? So she tells him that he cheats. So Spenny goes to different restaurants. It's like, yo, he's asking for a chef to help him. Then he finds a chef to help him, and the chef loses. Spenny fucking loses competition. Kenny goes out This is a really good episode when it comes to the DNA of the show. Spenny was trying to cheat for the first time because he's not a cheater. It's like he doesn't know how to cheat. He doesn't know how to really, you know, you know what I mean, right? But it's a really good episode. So then what ends up happening is, again, super fucking funny. What ends up happening is, oh shit, I'm not gonna have enough storage, right? Am I good on storage or no? I don't know. Kenny goes out and he pretends like he has his cooking show, and he goes to the restaurant and he goes to eat the food, and it's so nice. It's so nice because this is Kenny, and he eats so much, and he's like he eats so much for free, and this is just Kenny, and it's beautiful. See, this is the thing. Nothing proves that Kenny didn't pay for the meals, right? He might have paid for a couple of meals, but I'm pretty sure that he got some meals for free. And all he had to do was he had a camera crew, and said, "Hey, I'm filming this cooking show. I'm exploring restaurants from around the area. I would love to review your restaurant." And because he had a camera crew, he has a notoriety, a credibility, I guess. But anybody that would have asked, "How is your show called?" He would have not said shit. Everybody that did the research would have said, "Okay, well, this is not true." However, it's different because back then, we're back in 2003. There's no like iPhone. There's no Android. So you have to go on the computer. You have to go on Google, and you have to write down, "Is that show really real?" Right? So that's like actually kind of cool. They go to the cooking competition, and the cooking competition is so fucking nice. Because what I love about the episode. So, for example, right? Very soon, we're gonna sit on a cow the longest, right? And to me, this is a show because the first thing that you talk about is what is the competition. Okay, so this is the competition. This is what I'm gonna do. So you prep, and then when you prep, you go in and you say, okay, well, this is my strategy, and this is how I'm gonna do it. So, for example, with the cow, you have Spenny going to buy some gears, and Kenny being mental. So he goes in, right? With a chef, is the way we're gonna do it. There's a cheating. Spenny has a earpiece. I think he does canard duck. He does duck and couscous, I think. And Kenny does a lot better. He does a champagne tree fried. No, he does a champagne cheese refried beans. He does is burned black molasses ribs, and his mom hummus. Yeah, his mom, she makes amazing hummus. She makes amazing hummus because there's an episode where she makes hummus. Ooh, and this episode, I believe this is where we meet Safi. It's like, this is my mom, everybody, and Safi and Kenny are super close, which is good to see. And she makes some hummus. And I think it's this episode where she makes hummus, and the camera crew comes in and tastes it. And this is really humane. See, Kenny might be an asshole, but it's very humane. So he goes in. I'm 90 to 100% sure that it's Brendan, the sound guy, who comes in and he tastes the. Oh, I think it might be Sebastian though. He comes in and he's tasting the hummus, and then. He goes for Kenny's mom, and he goes for a hug because it's so good. Yeah, it's so good. And it's really nice because it's like, oh, I'm going to show you how to make hummus. This is his mom partaking. And Kenny's mom, she's so sweet. Safi is so cute. She'll say things like, it's in the picture, she's taking a picture. She doesn't understand what's going on, but she's there for her son, and she trusts her son, which is good. So they go into this. Kenny is a really good cook, and Kenny says, "Oh, it sounds like Spenny's cheating," which possibly made the show a bit less believable. They have guest judges. They have 3 guest judges. I did see Miriam was a judge. Miriam isn't a judge. She's like an announcer. She'll go and she'll ask Penny, "What are you cooking?" She'll ask Kenny, what is he cooking? The burned black molasses ribs are so good. One of the chef asked him for the recipe. Listen, I don't know the name of the chef, I'm sorry. So at the end, it's like, okay, well, Kenny won. Kenny prepared 3 meals. Penny prepared 1. And it sucks because I don't remember his name, but I know there's one male judge. I think it's two women judge and one male judge, two female judge, whatever. And the male judge seemed to be super fucking chill, and he goes in. It's like, I feel bad for Spenny because he came in almost guaranteed to lose because he presented one meal versus Kenny who prepared 3 meals, and I'm gonna paraphrase it, and he said something like he's clearly talented. Kenny does a really fucking good job, and again, you feel bad for Spenny because he didn't win because he cheated, but then he goes into a competition that he has no chance. So, and this is possibly one of the weaker part of Kenny vs. Spenny. Even 20 years ago, we know so little. Even 20 years after, we know so little of the production aspect to it, the behind the scene, how it was made. And the problem with this is, this is complex. This is a spoiler. Spenny ends up hating the show, but really, really hating the show. So, Kenny is the only one that talks about the show, because Kenny is only only the narrator. Like, well, is this the truth of this Kenny version, right? And because Kenny is a bit narcissistic, he's gonna put himself in a good-looking position all the time. So yeah, that's pretty much the episode. The humiliation is the first one I remember. Kenny jokes about how Spenny food was so bad he wouldn't feed his dog. I think it's his cat. I don't remember what he does, but he feeds Spenny animal food. And Spenny's like, yo, I ate a piece, and it's fucking funny. And I'm gonna be a bit an asshole here, but it's classic Larry David. Classic. It's funny because he said I'm Hill, but the way he said it is very, very, very. I don't want to say the word Jewish, but kind of very Jewish, right? Very old school Jew. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Now we got season 1, episode 4. That's gonna take a long time, huh? What, episode 4? Who can stand the longest? Okay, not the best episode, but kind of like a cool episode in itself. Who can stand the longest? To me, I wasn't a fan of Who Can Stay Awake the Longest. Who Can Stay Awake the Longest is good because there's a mental aspect to it, right? It's a mental comp versus a physical comp. The first thing that you're gonna give up is your mind, not your body. And even though Kenny was using so much coffee, his mind was still giving up, right? Who Can Stand the Longest is a physical comp, but it's also kind of crazy cool. So they go in, it's like, okay, well, we're gonna start standing, and it's gonna be a physical competition. So what are the rules? And this is the first episode where there's really rules, and because the rules aren't precise, this allows. I think I'm gonna go in, guys. It's really warm. Okay, let's finish till episode. Let's finish just 1 hour. Yeah, 1 hour, and then I'll go in because it's really starting to get warm. Yeah. Okay, we just started Who Can Stand. Let's do Who Can Stand. Okay, you know what? Let's do till Who's the sanest. So in Who Can Stand, there's not a lot of rules, not a lot of clarification. So the first thing that Kenny does is he leans. He's gonna be using crutches. He's gonna be leaning, which to Spenny doesn't sound like standing. This is such a weird episode because this is so fucking weird. This is early on. The problem with Kenny versus Spenny, and I said this today, is that we don't know who they are. So you're coming in. It's like, for example, right? There's this. This is gonna be such a weird example, but fuck it. There's this YouTube couple, Catherine and Austin McBroom, and the first video they did, they're super popular. And the first video that they did was a Q&A. We don't know who you are. So with Kenny vs. Spenny, we don't know who you are, and that was before internet, so it was super weird. So they go in, and then he starts saying, hey, this is leaning. So Spenny goes to a hot dog stand, and he's asking the guy, if somebody's leaning, would you say he's standing? And then the hot dog guy is standing. But then, the way Spenny speak, it's clearly an ad. He says, oh, this is a very good hot dog shop. There's so many condiments.